Hello everyone, welcome to this course. Today, this lesson will be talking about object hierarchy, project type, and value judgment of urban design. By the end of this lesson, you will gain a deeper understanding of the overall framework and practical application of this profession. Let's begin with the object hierarchy in urban design. It basically operates at three scales: the macro, meso, and micro scales. Each scale requires distinct design priorities and methodologies. The macro scale focuses on the overall layout and structure of the entire city or urban agglomeration, including major axes of the city, zoning divisions, and the city skyline. It includes the urban design during the master planning stage and large-scale urban design integrating multiple systems. The former takes the entire city as the object, addressing the city's holistic development and spatial layout, while the latter includes specialized topics such as urban landscape planning, urban color scheme design, urban development intensity or height planning. It also includes 4 key characteristics, and they include wide spatial scope, complex system structure, multiple design goals, high-degree professional compliance. Projects like Washington, D.C., or futuristic The Line, or the tent city in Meta, they all exemplify this level of design. These projects demonstrate how micro-level planning shapes a city's future. Here are some early concepts of the overall urban design, such as the ideal city, the broad-care city, and linear city. For more recent concepts of the overall urban design in modern times, archigram's walking city and plug-in city are typical examples. Most specifically, for ideal city, which was proposed during the Italian Renaissance by figures like Alberti, this concept emphasized the harmony and aesthetics in urban layouts, blending symmetry and classical proportion. For linear city, which was introduced by a Spanish scholar in the early 20th century, it advocated for cities to develop along a central axis to reduce traffic congestion and improve efficiency. And for broad-care city, which was a decentralized urban vision by Frank Lloyd Wright, promoting low-density development, where each family owns sufficient land for self-sufficiency and harmony with nature. The design outcome generally includes 3 major parts: the technical text, planning report, and schematic diagrams. For the text, it should include guidelines, which covering goals, urban style, spatial strategies, height, intensity controls, etc. For the planning report, it should include some drawings, recent project arrangements, etc. And for the diagrams, most drawings can be scaled from 1 to 10,000 to 1 to 20,000, and the urban space design strategies schematic diagram should be 1 to 50,000 to 1 to 80,000. At the mesoscale, urban design addresses specific districts or zones within the city, such as commercial areas, residential neighborhoods, or industrial zones, as well as the connectivity and interactions between these areas. District urban design focuses on functionally independent and environmentally cohesive urban blocks. It bridges macro and micro levels, addressing areas like district, commercial hub, or green corridors. This is the typical content involving urban design. Its goal is to analyze the value of the region to the city as a whole, based on the principles determined by the city master plan, in order to protect and strengthen the characteristic and development or potential of the existing natural and artificial environment in the region. In addition, through district-level design research, the areas and specific projects that will be given priority for development and implementation in the next stage can be indicated. And the operation is also combined with zoning planning and detailed planning. Typical examples are the rocks in Sydney and the Confucius Temple in Nanjing. For the outcomes of district plan, text should include legal provisions, and more specifically, design guidance and control requirements for land use function, overall environment, spatial landscape structure, green open space, poverty building space, traffic organization and road space, and important infrastructure and other parts should be included. Planning reports should include information like background studies, design concepts, and subsystem evaluations. The drawings should guide the implementations of design. Each project can be appropriately increased or decreased according to actual conditions. Most drawings can be scaled from 1 to 2,000 to 1 to 10,000, while K area, shapes, and the main street facade can be scaled from 1 to 500 to 1 to 2,000. At the micro scale, urban design concerns with the specific sites or plots, such as the design of individual buildings, streetscapes, or small plazas. It mainly includes two types of projects: the architectural design of public spaces, such as the design of streetscape, squares, transportation hubs, large buildings, and their surrounding environment. Although these designs are microscopic and specific, they have a significant impact on the appearance of a city. Specific building design is implemented in the design of specific building and smaller environment. This level of design depends on the understanding and recognition of the concept of urban design by architects, designers, or artists. There are some key points for urban design at the micro scale, and they include the relationship between the local and the whole, and the relationship between buildings and environment, and green design. The first point coordinates the interests of all parties, and avoid being influenced only by the will of owner and economic principles. The second point emphasizes that the design must consider the form, style, color, scale, and spatial organization of the building, as well as their coordinated symbiotic relationship with the urban structure, texture, and organization. And the third point should be used to increase natural ecological elements and improve their structure. And the architectural design should consider energy conservation and passive design to adapt to specific climate and geographical condition. Christian Science Center in Boston is a typical example. Key outcome at this scale includes technical text, guidelines, and diagrams. Texts include urban design descriptions and corresponding guidelines, can be in various forms, mainly in the form of drawings, tables, clauses, and mixed forms. Drawings should include the following 7 types. The first is the local topography and geomorphology analysis map. The second is the urban design guide map. Third is the traffic organization design map. The fourth is the landscape design guide. And the fifth is the spatial organization submap and detailed design of important nodes and graining configuration intention design. The content of the drawings can be appropriately increased, decreased, or merged according to different characteristics of the planned site. And the scale of the drawing should be 1 to 200 and 1 to 2000. Apart from the 3 levels of urban design as discussed above, there are many types of urban design practices, each with its own unique goals and methods. In this lesson, we mainly discuss the following 3 types. The first is the urban development design, which refers to the large-scale development plan of large-scale block and building development. Comprehensive development of buildings and transportation facilities, urban center development and construction, and new town development and construction in the city. Its purpose is to maintain the overall public interest of the urban environment and improve the quality of living space. For example, La Défense in Paris and Lujiazui in Shanghai are all typical examples of development-oriented urban design. The second one is the conservation, where urban protection and renewal are related to urban areas with historic context and place significance. It emphasizes the connotation and quality of urban material environment construction rather than just general real estate development that only pays attention to increase and change of the external volume. Planning and design of New York's South Street Harbor and Kyoto's Kiyomizu Temple are all examples of conservation projects in urban design. And the second one is the community. This kind of project focuses on people's living convenience and livable requirements, and emphasize residents' participation. The most fundamental thing is to put yourself in the shoes of users, especially the user group's requirements, living habits, and emotions, and learn from society in the design process. The San Diego metropolitan area in California and Baker residential area in Newcastle, England are representatives of community-based urban design. In general, all urban design projects should achieve three major objectives. The first is to consider all stakeholders, and the second is to set a vision, and the third is to be replaceable. And there are four aims that needs to be taken into considerations. The first one is to meet the specific functional requirements. The second one is to respond to the growth and changes of the city. The third one is to design for others to reconcile the needs of multiple parties. And the last one is to protect and shape the beauty of the urban environment, show the beauty of artificial construction through urban construction. In urban design, evaluations refers to the judgment of the quality of design result at specific time for specific purpose. Evaluation criteria assess whether goals are met and values are consistently applied throughout the design process, whether the goal setting is achieved, and whether the goals and values orientation run through the entire design. Therefore, different criteria can be made according to various projects. For example, there are two criteria listed. The first criteria evaluates a project from 7 principles, while the second one assesses a project from 6 different principles. These dimensions ensure design are dynamic, inclusive, and responsive to human needs. And that concludes today's lesson. I hope you now grasp the hierarchy type and value-driven goals of urban design. Feel free to share questions or insights in the comment section. Thank you and see you next time.